Hello everyone and welcome to part 1 of your debate training. We will be talking about all the things, the basic things that you need to know about debating. Now, debating is a contest, or perhaps I should say like a game, wherein one side is supporting a resolution while the other side is opposing the resolution. Now, this side is giving, or should I say the positive side, is giving all the evidence and all the arguments to support or to promote the motion. The other side will do everything they can to disprove what the positive side is saying, and they will also give all their arguments and evidence to oppose the motion. So the concept of debating revolves basically around that. And there are different types of debating. We have the British parliamentary debate, we also have the academic debate, cross-examination debate, and the Lincoln-Douglas debate. Now with these inspire different debate formats that are being used by different debaters in different regions all over the world. But for our training, we will focus more on the Asian parliamentary debate, which we will be talking about next.
So we have already established that debating is a formal disagreement between two opposing teams, the pro and the con. The con is the one supporting the proposition, and the con is called the opposition team. They're the one opposing the topic of the debate. So these two teams are debating against a certain topic of the debate. Now, the topic of the debate is also called the motion of the debate, or sometimes it's called the resolution or the proposition. Now, the pro is in agreement of the motion, so they're the ones supporting or promoting the motion. Now, the con is in disagreement with the motion, so they're the ones against, or they're opposing the motion or the resolution. Now, as what I've mentioned, we will be focusing more on the format, which is Asian parliamentary debate format. Now, for this format, these are the things that we need to remember about the Asian parliamentary debate format. It is mainly used in Asian English debate competition and also in Asian English debate training. And there are two teams. The government team, which is the positive side or the pro, and the opposition team, which is the negative side or the con. Okay, and each team consists of 3 speakers. So there are three speakers per team. The debate will be started and ended by the government team. Now, I will explain later how this works. Now, usually each speaker is given 7 minutes for training purposes, or for sometimes for younger debaters, they give a limit of 5 minutes, but usually it's 7 minutes. For training purposes, sometimes we do it for 3 minutes, okay? And then there will be an additional speech at the end of the debate, which is called the reply speech, and the speaker for this is given 4 minutes, or sometimes 3 minutes. Okay, now I will explain to you the 3 elements that we need to consider, or we need to remember for Asian parliamentary debate format. Now, the 3 elements are this. So we have Team A, which is the government team. This is the government team. Okay. They are the ones supporting the motion. Team B is the opposition team, and they're the one opposing the motion. So we have 3 speakers for each team. Speaker number 1, number 2, number 3, and also for the opposition team, we have 3 speakers. Now, at the bottom part, you will see here the chairman of the adjudicators, or the judges, so we call them, so usually, or the adjudicators. Okay. There can be more than one judge or more than one adjudicators, but there will be only one chairman, okay, one leader of the adjudicators or the judges. And then there's the timekeeper who will keep track of your time when you speak in front, and the timekeeper will also remind you. Okay, now this is very important. The role of the timekeeper is very important, and I will explain it in the next chapter. All right, now going back to the Asian parliamentary debate format. So these are the things that we need to remember. And so to break that down, the government side or the government team will have 3 members, 1, 2, 3, and the opposition team will also have 3 members, 1, 2, 3. Now, what do we call each member of the team? Now we have the leader of each team. For the government team, we call that leader as the Prime Minister. Okay, later in our training, in the next chapter, I will be explaining to you what are the roles of each of the member. So the first one is the Prime Minister, and then the second member of the government team is called the Deputy Prime Minister. Okay, and then we have the government whip, the member of the government. The government whip. Okay, for the opposition team, we have the leader of the opposition. And then we have the deputy leader of the opposition. And then the third member of the opposition team is the opposition whip. Okay, now for training purposes, we will call the Prime Minister as the PM. Okay, let me change the color of that. Okay, for training purposes, the Prime Minister will be called the PM. The Deputy Prime Minister will be called the DPM. Okay, and then the government whip, we can just label the member as GW or just the government whip. For the leader of the opposition, we will call that person as the LO, and the deputy leader of the opposition as the DLO, and then the opposition whip. Okay, now as I've mentioned, there will be another speech. So aside from all these 3 members, there will be the last speech to be given by each team, and I will explain that to you in the next part. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember. So there are three members for each team. We have the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and the government whip for the government side. The opposition side, we have the leader of the opposition, the deputy leader of the opposition, and the opposition whip. Now moving on. So how will the debate, or what will be the order of the speakers? Who will speak first, and who will be the next speaker, and who will be the next speaker, and so on. So as what we have mentioned here, that the debate will be started and ended by the government team. So this is how it will happen. So we have the government team here and the opposition team. Okay, the first speaker, the first one to talk, is the Prime Minister. After 7 minutes, once the Prime Minister is done with his or her speech, the next speaker will be the leader of the opposition. The leader of the opposition is the second person to speak or to talk in front. Then after that, it will be followed by the Deputy Prime Minister, and then followed by the Deputy Leader of the Opposition. After that, the government whip will give his or her speech, and then the opposition whip will give his or her speech. Now, here comes the reply speech. The reply speech, the first one to give the reply speech is the opposition team. Okay, so the seventh person to speak is the opposition reply speaker. Okay, and then the last person to speak in the debate round is the government reply speaker. Now, since there are only 3 members per team, the question is who will give the reply speech? Okay, the reply speech can only be given by the Prime Minister or the Deputy Prime Minister, or for the opposition team, it can be given by the opposition leader or the leader of the opposition or the deputy leader of the opposition. Okay, the government whip cannot give the reply speech, and the opposition whip as well. Okay, so that's how the debate round will run for Asian parliamentary debate. On page 2 of your debate training worksheet that was posted on your Google Classroom, on our Google Classroom, you will see there all these information that I have talked about the government team, the opposition team, what are their positions, or what do we call them, and also here you will see a short description of their jobs or what they do during the debate, or what are their tasks during the debate. So if you have time, you can read that in advance, although we will be talking about that in the next chapter. Also here, you will see the speaker order, who will talk first, who will be the next speaker until the last speaker. As what we have said, just a quick recap, that the debate for Asian parliamentary debate format will be started by the government team, which is the Prime Minister, and it will be ended by the government team too. And the reply speech can be given only by the Prime Minister or the Deputy Prime Minister for the government team. For the opposition team, it can only be given by the leader of the opposition or the deputy leader of the opposition.
So that is part 1 of your debate training, and I will see you all on our next video. Bye.